Hello, everyone. Welcome to Market Talk with BTR. This is our third episode, and we are so excited with our next guest. And I'm going to give him the opportunity. His name is Dwayne, but to give us an update of what he does, how long he's been in a business, and then we can kick off our segment. Awesome. Hi, Dwayne.
Hey, how you doing? Thank you very much for having me on today. Just talk a little bit about who I am, what the business I work for, and what we do. So I'm Dwayne, obviously, but I'm married with 5 children, retired Navy, 23 years. 2 years ago, I started working for this company, moved back to the Aiken, North Augusta area. So what we do is we build houses on people's land. Our company is called Build on Your Land, and we're having a grand opening here shortly on September 17th on East Pine Log Road, 539 East Pine Log Road. Our company's been in business for a little bit over 3 years, but we have over 50 years of building experience with our company. We have 17 floor plans that we build, 2 townhomes that we build, and then a 2-car detached garage that we can build. So that's a little bit about me and the company.
Well, thank you. So when you said that your company is pretty new to the area, but you have a lot of experience with building, where does that experience come from, and what types of licenses and certifications do you need to have to do what you're doing?
So we have one of our owners, Jared. He has a contractor residential license. So he's a general contractor residential for South Carolina. So he holds a license for our company. I'm not a real estate license. I'm just a salesman for the company. So really what you need is to have a general contractor's residential license in order to open a company like this. Yeah.
Okay. So that's going to kick us right into our segment. And the reason why I thought it was important for Dwayne to be on today, because I have a lot of customers that come in, clients, and they say, hey, I have land. I'm looking at these houses, but I would prefer to build on my land.
Right.
So today what I really want to talk to you about is what are the pros and cons? What can a client, once I refer them to you, what can they look forward to the process? And we'll just walk through all of that informally during the conversation. So you and I talked a little bit before this call, but before the podcast, but do you have a portfolio? So when I refer a customer to you, when Broadwater-Toole Realty refers a customer to him, what is your steps to getting them in a home?
So it's pretty simple. So there's when a client comes to us, there's 2 ways to be able to build a home. So there's the financing and then the cash, to pay cash for it. If you're financing, one of the things that we would require is a pre-approval letter to be able to show that you can afford to build the home. And then what we would do is the first thing we would do when you come into our office is sit down and talk with the client to see if any of our floor plans benefit them, if it's something they're really looking for. Because obviously we're not a custom builder, so we only build our floor plans. So some of our floor plans might not appease to certain people, but a lot of them do. And there's a lot that they have to choose from. So we'd find out what floor plan they like. We'd show them what we build, how we build. You said portfolio. We do have pictures of houses we built. The thing that's different with us though is we're not like a neighborhood home where you come in and the houses are built and you get to walk through them and see the houses. When the houses are in the building phase, we're able to show the clients, take them to different houses that are building and actually get to see them and see them through the construction phase. Once we give the keys over to the homeowner, then we take off and we're no longer bringing people to the property.
Okay. Now, is there a website where they can see 3D videos of homes and walk through and tour those homes online to pick it out, or is it specifically just the model and pictures that you have at hand? So
there's no 3D pictures on there, and the only reason for that is by the time the house is pretty much finished, we have like a couple of days for it to get cleaned, and then we're turning the house over. So we don't really have time to come through and do a 3D walkthrough, but we do have pictures of houses that we've taken and the inside, the outside, and on the website, there's a website, it's called buildonyourlandllc.com, and there's pictures of all our houses on there, so you can look at it and see and it shows the floor plan, how big the rooms are, everything like that, so you get a good idea of what you're looking at.
So you touched on it just a second ago. You said we're not a custom builder.
Right.
So we have a set plan for 20 houses that you build?
Yes.
Over and over again, and within those plans that you choose from, what upgrades are available? Tell us some of the functionality in the houses that you're building.
Okay. Yeah. So standard, and we have a standard feature sheet for all our houses. The standard our houses is vinyl siding, 3-tab shingles on the outside. We can do architectural, but it's an upgrade. 9-foot ceilings downstairs is standard. A lot of our homes have a 10-foot tray ceiling in the master bedroom. 9 or 8-foot ceilings upstairs. Granite countertops 3 centimeters throughout the house. Kitchen and bathrooms is standard. There's a tankless water heater is standard on our houses. Trying to think of some other key items that are standard. 2-car garage for most of our houses. We have one house that has no garage, but we can build a 2-car detached garage. We also have one house that can be built with 3-car garage, and it's a true ranch style looking house. So.
And is any of your homes energy efficient?
Yes, all our homes are energy efficient with low E windows. The tankless gas water heater is energy efficient. We don't build. We're kind of unique in the way we build our single stories with the bonus rooms upstairs. We don't build our bonus rooms over garage areas because it's not heat efficient. We build it over the heated square foot of the house.
Okay.
So any of our 1 stories with a bonus room do not build over the garage. So.
Okay, that's important to know. What about your laundry rooms? Are they upstairs, downstairs?
It's each plan is different.
Okay.
All our 1 stories will be downstairs. We do have our biggest home, which is the Wilshire. It is at 2,970 square feet. Master downstairs, 3 bedrooms upstairs, and 3.5 baths. It has the laundry room downstairs, and it's kind of unique the way we set it up too. Is because your master bedroom goes into your bathroom, to your large walk-in closet, into the laundry room, back out. So you never have to come out of your bedroom to get into your laundry.
Okay, that's good. That's good to know. Now, a lot of clients, they say, they pick out their plans. They sit there, everything is good. Do you want upgrades? No, I like it just the way it is. They get halfway through the building process and they say, hey, can we add this? Are changes not allowed after you've decided on the final plans, or are there changes allowed depending on what it is?
Yes, so we do allow changes up to the plan review. From contract to plan review, if you wanted to do a change, there's no cost to it. If it's an upgrade, then it would be the cost of the upgrade, but there's no change order fee. Anything after the plan review, we have a yes/no sheet that says how far along we are in the stage of the build. If we're at a certain point, there's certain things we can't do because it would just cost too much money and it would slow the build process down. But we do allow changes through change orders. And most builders don't like changes because when you change, when you're building a house, it's human hands that are building a house. So you always leave room for mistakes when you do changes. So we kind of like to be able to figure it out all at once. But there's almost every house you build, there's going to be changes with it. So.
Okay. What does the communication pattern looks like? So I sit down with you today, we sign off on everything.
Okay.
Am I communicating with the sales office still, or is there a team of you in the background where now it's a handoff? now this is my main contact that I'm going to, and this is the person that I need to escalate to. Is there an order of a chain of command order once you sign off on the document?
So once you go to contract with us to build a house for you, I will be your main contact throughout the whole process. Once we get into the build phase, what will happen is we figured out that communication is key to make the process a lot smoother, especially post-COVID, stuff like that, when you've got a lot of material shortages, stuff like that. So our construction manager will send out an email every week on Monday, and it'll be a detailed email. It'll have phases, what phase your house is in, what to expect, what happened last week, what to expect this week. If there's any issues like supply issues or anything like that, he lays it out there on what we're waiting on, so that the communication's there and the client is not worried about why there's nothing happening right now. They know straight from him. I will be part of that email too. So if the client has a question, they email reply all, and they email everybody. If it's a sales question, I would answer it. If it was a construction question, my construction manager would directly answer it, just because it's better to come from the source than to have 1-2 parties going to each other.
Okay.
So
what about your contractors? Do you have like set contractors that work from beginning to end, or do you use local contractors to assist with the build of the home? So our contractors they're called our soups. So our main contractor is Jared. He owns the license, and then we have building soups, and we use vendors just like any other builder. They use vendors, local vendors. Our subcontract or our supervisor, he's local from the area, and he goes to all the Aiken. He's in control of all the Aiken area houses. Okay. And as we expand, we would hire more soups. Currently, right now with our company, we probably have, I want to say 6 soups going around to different houses in there in Batesburg, Aiken, Columbia, Winsboro. I mean, we're all over the place. Because how many houses do you have going up at this time?
At any given time, we're building 50 to 60 houses on the ground. So,
and the cost is determined at the time we sit down. We map all of that out.
Yes.
How much the house is going to be. Are there any changes throughout that time frame from the beginning of the build to the end of the build?
So there's 3 costs that go into building a house. So if you look at our website, you'll see the price for each house. That price is that house, a turnkey house on a monolithic slab with very minimum lot preparation. We can do crawl spaces, we can do stuff like that, but it costs more. But that cost, and then we actually come out and do a what's called a lot review, where we look at your land and tell you how much it's going to cost to get the land, cure the land to be able to accept the house. So you have that cost, the cost of the house, and then any upgrades you want to do, and that would be your total cost to build. There's two items that can change during the build process, and it's the well, if you have well, and if you have septic. We put an allowance in for well and septic. And we kind of raised it in the last year because septics and wells have gotten a little bit more expensive. We put an allowance in there, but our main goal is to, once the loan closes, we don't want to come back to the customer for more money after the loan's closed. The well and septic are pass-through costs, so we don't upcharge. We don't upcharge it at all. So whatever, once they put the septic in, we get an invoice. We send an invoice to the client, and we do a change order to either credit money back, or if it's overage, then we'd have to request more money.
What about landscaping? Is that factored into the total cost of the home, or is that something separate that the buyer has to?
So the buyer can do an allowance for landscaping if they wish, but standard, we do put 5 pallets of sod, standard in the price of the house. Also 1 tree, 6 bushes, and 12 bales of pine needle. And then also, we're one of the only builders that standard in our cost. We put 520 square foot of concrete pad in front of the garage with a walkway to the front porch. Standard.
That's good to know. And what about your average build time?
The average build time from the day we start pushing dirt is about 180 days right now.
So 8 months or less.
Yes.
They could be in their house depending on if it's a cash buyer or a finance.
Yes. So if you're financing, it takes about 45 to 60 days for the loan to close, and then 180 days for the build cycle. If you're cash, usually it takes about 30 days for us to get all our building permits and the stuff we need, and then 180 days. So you're 7 to 8 months. One of the key things too is if you're in Aiken, there's a lot of area that needs septic. The clients need to make sure that they're responsible to get their DHEC permit for their septic. And if you're looking to build, even if it's in the future, like 6 to 8 months from now, it'd be a good idea to go ahead and apply for your septic permit, because DHEC is about 12 weeks out from getting to your property to actually do a DHEC permit.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way on one of my closings.
And it's $150 through DHEC with the application, or you can get a soil classifier, and they're starting to get back up too. And it's the price is totally different, $150 to anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 for a soil classifier.
So when you said for the 30 to 45 days to the loan to close, I want to make sure that the listeners don't get confused.
Okay.
So that's closing on the land if it's not your land.
Yeah, so the loan to close, the closure that I'm talking about with the loan is the closure for the house, the construction. So if you're doing a loan to build with us, it would have to be a construction to permanent loan, and they can combine land with the house. Yes. I don't know if we could throw out any banks. So our preferred lender is Ameris Bank, but Ag South does any. They do construction loans too. We use both of them, and the 30 or the 45 to 60 days is the closing on the house itself.
So if they have land that they're purchasing, it's not their land that they own outright. They close on that land first. It's 30 to 45 days. And now you can get started, and it's going to take 30 to 45 days for yours to close on the house.
Yes. So what they would want to do a lot of times, if you already know what house you want to build and what builder you want to go with, you would want to probably do the land and the house package together. Yeah. We wouldn't be a part of the land, but the bank would be able to add the land into the house. And just because it makes a lot smoother process. Right. And the key thing too is not all land is the same. So that's key when looking at land. We look at the land for free. We'll come out and give you a price and tell you if it's buildable or if it's not buildable. And we're going to be straightforward with you. We don't want you to buy a piece of land that you really can't build on. And then, so we'll come out and look at it before you even purchase the land and give you a price on it. And that price is firm. We don't sit there and come back and say, we need more of this or more of that. So
HOA. So we're talking about land, and most of the time, someone may already own the land or they've already found a piece of land. I just had a client purchase one in a subdivision here. How do you handle subdivisions which has HOAs? So you would have to be able to go in and
it's a case by case basis. I built my first house that I built that I sold with Build on Your Land was in Barrington Farms, and it was on 14 acres. And you would think that it would be really strict. It wasn't too strict. Okay. What we do is we look at, first of all, if the HOA allows outside builders, because some of them don't, or some of them have their specific builders that can build in their neighborhood. And then we look at the restrictions on what they require. If restrictions are a little bit out of the way, we decide not to build in those areas and it's just because the model of our business is we're not trying to be bottlenecked. We like to keep moving, and it's just the nature of it. And sometimes when you got an HOA, sometimes that is really strict, it takes up a lot of your time.
That's right.
Yeah. But most neighborhoods we found around here are allowed to build it. I'm looking at, I think Trolley Run's one of them I'm looking at right now that a client has. So there's some good ones.
Yes. Because you typically see certain builders in those type communities. So it's important for the listeners to understand that you just have to go through to get the right permissions to build before you buy land.
Right, and some of those builders, they'll require you to pay a certain amount to be able to build in their neighborhood. So
Right.
it's all according. You know, but if you talk to us, what we do, we're, you know, and I'm not a realtor, but when a client sent my way and they're interested in a community, I'll look the community up. I'll look up all the guidelines and everything like that, and I'll be straightforward with them. This is, we'll build here or we won't, or this is what you're looking at. That way that they're well informed. So we take care of the clients really good.
What typical complications other than weather? Because we know that's the biggest delay that builders have. But what typical complications do you see or that may arise during the build time?
So some of the complications I've seen recently, I would say, is supply issues. Like we did have at one time sheetrock. We had a delay in sheetrock. Finally, it came. So we usually finish about 6 houses a month. So we're finishing anywhere from 6 to 10 houses a month. We're finishing.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and then sheetrock had put a delay on us, and when it kind of bottlenecked us a little bit, but we got through it, and we closed a little bit more houses in 1 month than we typically do to catch up.
Gotcha.
But sheetrock supply issues have been the biggest thing. Is figuring out. Our company does a daily audit on our vendors and our supplies. And if we have an issue here, we look for a new supplier, a new vendor, and we switch out to make sure that we can build a house. But the good thing is in our contract, it talks about if we do have to do a different flooring or something, it's at a greater quality or better flooring or product. So we won't put something that's a cheaper product into the house in order to get the house built.
I think that's good to know because when you get in, everything looks great. Even the cheap stuff looks great.
Oh yeah.
But once you start living and you're starting to see, well, it's only been 3 months and
the floors start buckling.
Yeah, it's falling apart. Yep. Do you track the major developments in your day-to-day routine to keep up with it, or is that not even a concern of yours?
That's not a concern of mine.
Okay.
But getting back to you're talking about the products and stuff like that. We materials we use wood for our baseboards. We don't use MDF stuff like that. We use good quality products or cabinets or talking about standard features. We have used to not be. We didn't offer soft close. Now standard. All our doors and our cabinets are all soft close standard.
And that matters when you have kids.
It does. Slamming, you don't want to take anger issue classes. We just get a soft close.
That's right.
But yeah, we've seen we don't really track the major developments. Our corporate level, they probably do, but us at the sales store, we don't really track too much. We look at a lot of. We do, even though we don't finance, we do kind of look at the interest rates and stuff. But honestly, the interest rates are still pretty low compared to what it was when I was growing up. And my dad, when they were talking about 8-10% on a house, and I think the average over a 50-year span is over 7% interest rates. Right. So I mean, it's give or take, and you just gotta put it into perspective. Hey. If you really want a house, and then if interest rates ever do drop, you can always refinance and get that lower interest rate. So
and we just had a bubble of refinancing over the COVID.
I think Ag South was telling me something about they had actually put into theirs a little bit higher than what the Feds. They went at 1%, where the Feds were 0.75, so they actually dropped theirs recently. So,
that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
It was really good.
So we talked about a lot today. What is something that you wanted to make sure that you portrayed to the listeners that we haven't hit on?
I would probably say that one of the things I've noticed since I've been working here for 2 years, came out of the military, retired. One of my biggest things was integrity. When I go to work in the civilian world, was where can I work at, and integrity is not going to be an issue. So I started working for Build on Your Land. I knew a guy that's there that I used to work for in the military, or work with in the military, And one of the things I noticed that really spoke to me is through COVID and everything, through the height of it, when prices were rocketing, we went to contract with people to build their houses. We didn't change our price, even though our prices might have changed. But after we were in contract, we kept the price. We honored the price that we gave them, and we were seeing houses. We were building a house, and there would be a foundation next door to the next house, and it had weeds and stuff growing up to it because somebody had stopped building because they said either you pay the extra cost or we wait until it go down and we'll continue to build process.
Wow.
Where we continued building and we didn't raise prices on our clients. So that's the integrity is a big thing, and you know, the company has showed me that they have the integrity and they're all about being fair. So
good.
Yes.
That's Build on Your Land LLC.
Awesome.
You have anything else, Dwayne?
I think I'm good. Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. Market Talk with BTR is not just real estate talk. It's anything in the community that affects our way of living, and that impacts real estate. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next episode.
Awesome.